Well, in just a little over an hour, one of the most important parts of let's say most of the important parts of President Trump's travel order are going to go into effect. Joining me now to discuss, Rick Grinnell and Jessie Jane Duff. Rick, an amazing victory to Supreme Court. Now we're implementing this, and it's a tense situation for many. The critics are out there, but I think this is going to really prove itself to be a smart strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, this has been way overblown by the media. This is a 90-day reprieve, a 90-day halt, so that we can ensure, and we got to remember, this is why President Trump decided to push this. We want to ensure that the process for vetting people from these 6 countries is a good process. That's going to affect how we vet for a whole bunch of other visas. This is a process that the State Department must reform. They've been very slow to reform. You have to remember, Charles, that first-year Foreign Service officers, their first tour is on the visa desk at our embassies. They're very young. They're given, guidelines on who to accept and what kind of questions to ask. But this is a process that we have to get right. One time we get it wrong, and we can have a national security crisis. So I think a 90-day reprieve is absolutely something that we should do regularly, actually. Oh, that's a great idea. You know, here's the thing, though, Jessie Jane. It's always hard to prove a counterfactual to say, hey, we prevented a certain amount of deaths or terrorist action. And in the meantime, the mainstream media is going to harp on the idea that maybe in-laws can come in, but grandmothers can't, those kind of things.
Well, right now they do have a stipulation that certain relatives will not be eligible, as you just mentioned, such as cousins, in-laws, and some grandparents. So what it really boils down to is you must have close personal ties and or with a university or with a business. So there are other variables beyond just being a relative. They also will have a 120-day ban for those that are refugees. There are records of refugees that have come to the United States that have actually been found to be trying to create terrorist activity within the United States, and they have been convicted of such. So there is a record of this, and we must ensure that we're not just letting people slide through the gates as Donald Trump is keeping his campaign promise.
Right, and these are 6 countries in complete disarray. Rick?
Yeah, Charles, what I was going to add to that comment is, we know, the facts show that those who overstay their visa and try to bury into our system illegally are people who actually have relatives in this country, people who, have brothers and sisters who want to be here. The Foreign Service officers who are in charge of trying to figure out who to let in and who not to let in, one of the criteria that they use is, do you have a reason to go back to your home country? Do you have somebody else that you're supposed to care for? Do you have financial responsibilities back in your home country? That's not the only thing that we should be looking for, ties to terrorism and a whole bunch of other things. We have to reform this process, and I think taking a pause for these 6 countries is extremely rational.
Let me ask, I want to shift gears just a minute because, of course, critics have panned the administration's travel ban as racist, but, no one's talking about Attorney General Jeff Sessions and his real war that's going on. He is fighting against hate speech and race crimes. Take a listen.
The Trump administration and the Department of Justice are committed to reducing violent crime and hate crimes and making America safe. As you know, hate crimes are often precursors to violent crimes or indeed are violent crimes. No person should have to fear being attacked because of who they are, what they believe, or how they worship. So I pledge to you, as long as I'm Attorney General of this Department of Justice, we will continue to protect the civil rights of all Americans.
Rick, we never hear about this in the media.
I got to say, this is where I part ways. All crime is hate to me. I'm against hate crimes. It sounds very PC to me. If you hit me, that's a crime, whether or not I'm gay or handicapped or black or white or just an old straight white guy. If you hit me, it's wrong. I don't understand why we have to have the second class of classification that somehow says because you had hate in your heart and you hit me, it's worse. Look, all crime is hate.
Real quick, Jessie Jane, what are your thoughts?
Well, Attorney General Jeff Sessions was accused of being a racist when he was being confirmed. So there may be something within him that shows that he wants to demonstrate that he's not going to tolerate any form of hate on his watch. I do agree with Rick in many ways. However, he's also going after gangs like MS-13. Many of them are here illegally. And the visa overstays are people that have also committed crime. So we have to be tough on crime. We have to have a rule of law. And if it's to demonstrate through hate crime that we're not going to tolerate people being killed, murdered, or however, you know, I'm kind of supportive of any method that he has to do to resolve the crime problem in this country. And we all are tired of being called a racist because we're against illegals committing crime.
All right, guys, thank you both.
Just enforce the law. I say enforce the law. It's already on the books.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're absolutely right. I think there might be the sort of psychological element to it, though. It's when you harm someone because of who they are, it sends a threat through the rest of that particular community.
It's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope, as opposed to just someone knocking your head for your paycheck. If they're knocking your head for other reasons, maybe it sends a message to your community.
They hate you because you're wealthy. They hate you because you're wealthy then.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, I mean, all crime is hate, and whatever the motivation is, it's wrong if you hit me or you steal from me, regardless of who I am.
No argument from me, my friend. You're absolutely right. Crime is a crime, and violent crimes, I think we have been too soft on in this country, period,
Absolutely.
bottom line. Guys, again, you are two of the best, and I appreciate you tonight.
Thank you very much, Charles.
See you soon.
Thanks,
Speaking of the best, Dog the Bounty Hunter.